The air on Earth was tense. The peaceful hum of the planet's day-to-day routine had been shattered months ago, when the Galactic Council, once a beacon of interstellar cooperation, had slowly begun to show their true colors. What started with subtle insults to human culture and technology had escalated to full-blown political maneuvers. And now, at long last, humanity had had enough. Elizabeth stood at the window of the command center, gazing out at the bright blue sky. The Earth's weather systems were controlled now, to some degree, by the Council's vast networks. It was their way of showing benevolence by managing something that humans had once considered their greatest resource, nature. But to Elizabeth, it felt like a slap in the face. The more the Council helped, the more they controlled. And they were controlling too much. Evan, her partner in this uneasy game of survival, turned from the holoscreen in front of him, his brow furrowed as he watched Elizabeth's profile. The world outside might have been peaceful, but inside the command center, things were far from calm. "I don't think they're going to back down," Evan said, his voice low but steady. He had seen the way the Galactic Council had dismissed humanity's voice at every turn. First it was small insults. Then came the trade embargoes, the blockade on Earth's most valuable exports. And now, the Council's forces were gathering on the fringes of human space? With no clear reason other than to show their superiority, Elizabeth turned, her eyes sharp, the weight of history pressing down on her. "No, they won't. And we're not going to wait for them to make their move. We're not going to keep playing their game." Her words had been decisive, but her mind raced as she considered the risks. It would take more than human determination to face the might of the Galactic Council. But in that moment, as the light in her eyes hardened, Elizabeth knew the truth. Humanity was about to make a stand. The Six-Day War began as a mere whisper across the stars, single ship leaving Earth's orbit, cutting through the Council's blockade like a knife through cloth. But what the Council had underestimated was the very thing they had mocked: human ingenuity. The first strike was small, an old battleship, barely functional, but it carried within it a message. "This is humanity's world. Leave it alone." The Council's response was swift. Their fleet, vast and seemingly indestructible, surged forward. But humanity had long ago learned to fight from the shadows, from the corners of the galaxy where the Council dared not look. By the time the Council realized what had happened, their fleet was already decimated. Their forces scattered across multiple systems. Evan and Elizabeth, commanders of the rapidly formed Earth Defense Force, watched as their ragtag fleet of ships, most of them nothing more than decommissioned vessels from Earth's naval forces, engaged the enemy. Their tactics were unpredictable, a mix of guerrilla warfare and straight-up defiance. And the results were undeniable. The war raged on for 6 brutal days. Each day, the Council's forces would make a move, and each time, humanity responded with greater force, greater strategy. What the Council had once dismissed as primitive humans, will to fight, was proving to be their undoing. On the 4th day of the war, Elizabeth stood at the command center once more. This time, it was not the sky that held her attention, but the maps of galactic space displayed across the holoscreen. The Council's forces were retreating. Slowly, imperceptibly, they were being pushed back. Evan's voice cut through her concentration. "They're underestimating us," he said. It wasn't a question, just a statement of fact. "They thought we were nothing more than a nuisance." Elizabeth's lips curled into a faint smile. "They were wrong. It's always been humanity's greatest strength, never underestimating our own ability to adapt." She turned toward him. "You're right. They thought we'd crumble under pressure. But what they didn't count on was our stubbornness." Evan chuckled softly. "Stubbornness or something else?" "Survival," Elizabeth replied, her voice firm. "We're survivors, Evan. That's why we'll win this." By the end of the 6th day, the war was over. Humanity had proven its strength. Against all odds, against a force that had once seemed unstoppable, Earth's forces stood victorious. The Council, humbled and broken, had no choice but to sign an unprecedented peace treaty, acknowledging humanity's power and influence in the galaxy. And as the smoke of battle cleared, Elizabeth and Evan stood together, watching the stars. The universe is changing, Elizabeth said, her voice filled with quiet triumph. This war, it wasn't just about victory. It was about showing them who we are. We'll never back down again. Evan nodded. They'll never forget this, Elizabeth. Humanity's patience may have snapped, but what they really learned is that when humans fight, we fight to win.